All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It is that time of the week, folks. My weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. Now, this past Thursday night, I did pick the Baltimore Ravens to go on the road and defeat the Miami Dolphins. However, the Dolphins had something else in their minds. And the Dolphins went out there, they played a great game, especially on defense, as they were able to neutralize the very dangerous Ravens quarterback in Lamar Jackson. Now, with that said, there are some good games on tap for tomorrow, as well as the Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks for week number 10 in the 2021 NFL season. Now, first and foremost, you are going to have the Atlanta Falcons with a record of 4-4 traveling to AT&T Stadium to take on the 6-2 Dallas Cowboys. And for Dallas, they head into this game licking their wounds because the Cowboys were a heavy favorite at home last Sunday versus the Denver Broncos. However, the Broncos went into AT&T Stadium and beat the brakes off of the Dallas Cowboys, and even their owner, Jerry Jones, had to come out and say that the Cowboys were flat. You look at this Cowboys defense, and after starting strong, they're starting to resemble the defense that got lit up last season. And I think first and foremost, what Dallas needs to do is get more pressure up front from their front seven. Because if they are unable to get pressure on veteran quarterback Matt Ryan tomorrow, they will have their problems because Matt Ryan is a former MVP and he could take apart this Dallas secondary if he's given the opportunity. Now, Dak Prescott and this Cowboys offense, they have to play better too. I know Ezekiel Elliott leaving with the knee injury last week didn't help the Cowboys' cause, but they need to be back on all cylinders tomorrow because you cannot overlook this Falcons team. I'll tell you like this. I think Dallas will win the game, but it's something where they're really going to have to work on it. And I think this is one of those games where it could come down to the final possession. But I'm going to take the Cowboys to prevail by the score of 31-27. Now in Nashville, you're going to have the 7-2 Tennessee Titans hosting the 5-3 New Orleans Saints. And don't look now, but the Tennessee Titans are rolling. No Derrick Henry last Sunday night as they went on the road, and their defense really took care of the Los Angeles Rams. And this team right now is playing with a ton of confidence. Now, I know that they have Red Grange at running back right now as they picked up Adrian Peterson. And of course, Adrian Peterson is not going to be the Adrian Peterson of old. But I will tell you this, if you sleep on him, he could make a couple of impact plays in this game. Now, when you think about the Saints, you think about their defense, and they're going to have to carry this team right now as they have their woes on the offensive side. Of course, no Jameis Winston for the rest of the season, and now no Alvin Kamara for this game for New Orleans. Tennessee comes into this game favored by 3 points, and I think they will do so. They're going to take the Titans to cover by three or more in this one by the score of 24-20. Now in Indy, you're going to have the 4-5 Colts hosting the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is a very important game for the Colts. They're looking to hang around in that AFC wildcard picture. And also, they have an opportunity to get back to the 500 mark after that slow start. The bottom line is Frank Reich can coach. And you can say whatever you want. Frank Reich has his team ready to play every single Sunday. And they're going to need that because this Jacksonville team just upset the AFC East leading Buffalo Bills last week. I guarantee you, Indy will not sleep on Jacksonville tomorrow. This one going to take the Colts at home by the score of 31-27. Now in Foxborough, you're going to have the 5-4 New England Patriots hosting the 5-4 Cleveland Browns. Both of these teams come into this contest with identical records, but they have different feels to them. Of course, we know that the Browns released veteran wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. But then on top of that, the Browns have been dealt with several injuries, and most importantly, Nick Chubb will not be available for the Browns in this game. And that's important because as Nick Chubb goes, so does the fortunes of this Browns offense. On the flip side for the Patriots, after the slow start, they were 1-3. This team is really coming together. They're really believing in themselves. And most importantly, it is the same moniker for this Patriots team under head coach Bill Belichick. Do your job. And that's what we're seeing. Defensively, they're stepping up. Special teams wise, they're stepping up. They're not throwing the ball as effectively right now, or should I say, for a lot of yardage. But the passes that rookie quarterback Mac Jones is making are effective, and they are running the football better. This is going to be a game right here. I think it's going to come down to the defenses for both sides. I expect New England to try to mix up their coverages, confuse Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, put him in situations where he has to throw the football, which could lead to a couple of turnovers. This Browns defense is going to have to put pressure as well on Mac Jones and potentially force a couple of turnovers. This is going to be a good back and forth game right here, but I'm going to take New England at home by the score of 24-22. Now at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, you're going to have the 2-6 New York Jets hosting the 5-3 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo comes into this game favored by 12 and a half points. However, we saw the Bills being heavily favored last week on the road in Jacksonville, and we saw what happened. On top of that, you look at the Jets' 2 wins this season at home versus teams that they were a heavy underdog against, rather. For the Jets, the bottom line is this: they're not going to catch the Bills napping. That's first and foremost. But defensively, they know that they've got to go out there and put some pressure on Bills quarterback Josh Allen, and in order to make him not only make some turnovers, but also keep this Bills offense in third and second and long situations to kind of, dictate what they are and what they're not going to do. But I'll tell you like this: after Buffalo was embarrassed last Sunday, I don't expect them to have that misfortune 2 weeks in a row versus one of the bottom feeders in the NFL. So I'm going to take the Bills to take care of their business by the score of 30-19. Now you're going to have the winless Detroit Lions traveling to Heinz Field to take on the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is a game right here that some people could say is a potential trap game for the Steelers. They come in heavily favored at home versus the Lions. However, the Lions, in spite of the fact that they have not won a game, they are coming into this contest offered their bye. And the thing is this: say what you want, this team plays hard for head coach Dan Campbell for 60 minutes. So if you're Pittsburgh, you cannot overlook them. Then on top of that, the last couple of years we've seen the Steelers too often tend to play down to their level of competition. So because of that, I think the door is going to be open in this contest for the Lions. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people expected to be. There's going to be some frustrated Steelers fans in attendance, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh in a tight one by the score of 23-19. Now at FedEx Field, you're going to have the 2-6 Washington football team hosting the 6-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, these two teams met in the wild card round in the NFC playoffs last January. However, a lot has changed for both of these teams since then. Of course, the Bucks were able to win the Super Bowl championship, while a lot of people who felt that Washington was going to be able to contend for the NFC East crown this year, this club has taken a step back. Of course, they have their issues on offense. Tyler Henneke is looking more like a one-hit wonder as each week progresses, and this famed defensive line is not getting the pressure on opposing offenses that we saw them do last year. And if you're not going to be able to create pressure, if you are Washington, good luck, because veteran quarterback Tom Brady can get comfortable in that pocket and he can pick you apart. And on top of that, you have to worry about so much talent around him on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the running game. And I expect a heavy dose of Leonard Fournette in this contest. The Bucks have their injuries on defense, but I guarantee you that their defensive coordinator Todd Bowles will cook up a game plan that's going to force at least one turnover from Henneke in this game, which could be the difference. But I'm going to take Tampa on the road by the score of 31-20. Now in the desert, you're going to have the 8-1 Arizona Cardinals hosting the 4-5 Carolina Panthers. And for Arizona, they come into this game favored by 10.5 points, and for good reasons. We saw this team go on the road last week and dominate the San Francisco 49ers without starting quarterback Kyler Murray. And they are facing a Panthers team that has a lot of issues right now, especially at the quarterback position. We saw this team pick up veteran quarterback Cam Newton in the hopes of trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. But you look at, regardless of who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Panthers tomorrow, going up against this vicious, and I say vicious, Cardinals defense led by Chandler Jones, who's rushing the passer up front, it could be a long afternoon for him. Thus, I'm going to take Arizona by the score of 34-20. Now in Inglewood, you're going to have the 5-3 Los Angeles Chargers hosting the 3-5 Minnesota Vikings. And to me, this is one of those classic toss-up games. Both of these teams have consistently found ways to lose games late that they should win. So this contest here could be, you know what, the last team holding the ball might actually lose it. You look at it, an up and down Vikings team. They've been so close in so many games this season. The same thing can be said about the Chargers. I think this contest is going to come down to which quarterback doesn't turn the football over, whether that be Kirk Cousins for the Vikings or Justin Herbert for the Chargers. But nonetheless, I'm going to take the Vikings on the road in this game by the score of 34-28. Now you're going to have the 5-4 Denver Broncos hosting the 3-6 Philadelphia Eagles. And for Denver, they have to have so much confidence right now after they went on the road and dominated the Dallas Cowboys in every facet of the game. And for Denver, I think it's going to start with their defense in this one. They want to make the Eagles' offense one dimensional. And on top of that, they want Jalen Hurts, the Eagles quarterback, to beat them from the pocket with his arm, which he has shown that he is consistently unable to do. This Philly defense, they got to try to get to quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and this Broncos offense to slow them down, but I think it's going to be easier said than done. Thus, I am going to take Denver at home by the score of 27-20. Now you're going to have the 3-5 Seattle Seahawks traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the 7-2 Green Bay Packers. A lot of intrigue for this game on both sides. First and foremost, the return of Russell Wilson at quarterback for the Seahawks, as he has been out with that finger injury. And of course, as Wilson goes, so do the fortunes of the Seahawks team. I wouldn't be surprised if Wilson would wear a glove tomorrow and for the rest of the season. It's going to be cold in Green Bay, and it's going to get colder as the season progresses. And just to give him the ability to hold on to that football a little bit better. Will Aaron Rodgers play? Well, that's going to be the $1 million question for this one, of course. He's been out after testing positive for COVID. Of course, he missed the game last week versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which the Packers did lose. It's going to be interesting to see which team gets a feel for this game, but I think Rodgers will play, and I think he will play effective enough to give Green Bay the 27-24 win. Now, you're going to have the 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Vegas to take on the 5-3 Raiders. Kansas City comes into this game favored by 2.5 points. Both of these teams need this game because the winner could be in first place in the AFC West when it's all said and done. You look at the Chiefs. Their defense has stepped it up in recent weeks, and that's going to be important because they've got to find a way to get to Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. For the Raiders, they've had a lot of off the field distractions right now. And the bottom line is they have to find a way to just channel out all that noise and focus on football. And in focusing on football, they have to find a way defensively to put some pressure on Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. And they have the people in their front seven, led by Max Crosby, that can do that and do it effectively. I think this is going to be a vintage back and forth Chiefs Raiders game. The Chiefs went to Las Vegas rather and defeated the Raiders last year. However, there were no fans in attendance. I think having fans in the stands this year will make a difference. And I'm going to take the silver and black at home by the score of 34-31. And finally, on Monday Night Football, you're going to have the 7-2 Los Angeles Rams traveling to Levi Stadium to take on the 3-5 San Francisco 49ers. A lot of trends in this game. The Rams are undefeated on the road, while the 49ers have not won a game at home all season long. Right now, the 49ers are licking their wounds with so many different injuries, while the Rams are looking to unveil some of their new talent that they've acquired. Von Miller is expected to be in uniform on Monday night for the Broncos. Pardon me, for the Broncos. Shows you where my mind is at. For the Rams. And then Odell Beckham Jr., who was just signed this week, could be in uniform for the Rams as well. I look at the Rams in this game, especially after they lost at home last week to the Titans. They want to get back on track. They want to flex their muscles, and they want to show while not only they are one of the best teams in the NFC, but also they have the potential to win it all. That's why I'm going to take the Rams on the road in this contest by the score of 31-19. So, folks, those are my picks for week number 10 in the 2021 NFL season. And as always, I want to take the time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.